All right, everyone. So we've spent the chapter talking about graphing relationships, so let's take it to the final step. Here we go. So graphs can be used to illustrate different situations without using specific numbers on the axes. To relate a graph to a given situation, some key words can be used in our description. So if I said something was constant, that would give me a line that looks horizontal. If I said something rose steadily, that would be a line that slants upwards. Where if something stayed the same, once again, that would stay horizontal. And if something dropped sharply, that would have a line slanting downward. So let's take a look. Here's a horizontal line that increased at an increasing rate. It went horizontal again, and then it slanted downward. So let's take a look. Which one do you think corresponds well to this story? The air temperature was constant for several hours. It began at the beginning of the day and then rose steadily for several hours. It stayed at the same temperature for most of the day before dropping sharply at sundown. Notice they all start this way. This one starts constant. This one increases, so I know it's not C. This one, they both rise sharply, and then it stayed the same temperature for most of the day before dropping sharply. And that's how I know B is my answer. You guys, try this one. The air temperature increased steadily for several hours, then it remained constant at the end of the day. The temperature increased slightly, again, before dropping sharply. You got an idea of which one you think it is? Did you get it? All right. So there are going to be two types of graphs we're going to be dealing with. One is a continuous graph. Those are graphs with connected lines or curved lines. It would look like this. Notice it's a connected line. And then there's a discrete graph. And that's a graph made up of distinct points. Notice how they are not connected, they are just separate points. So let's say Brett is selling candles to raise money for the school dance. Each candle he sells, the school gets $2. He has 10 candles he can sell. So let's take a look at how we could describe this. Well, here are some numbers. If he sells one candle, that's $2, two candles, $4, and so on. Notice, why don't we connect these dots? That's because Brett cannot sell half a candle and get $1. So each one of these points is as a ordered pair if Brett sells that individual candle. We do not connect the lines because you can't sell half a candle. Bo drains water from a tank by opening a valve. He opens the second valve, then closes the first valve, and leaves the second valve open until the tank is empty. Notice, we have time and water level. He starts off by opening a valve, and the water level goes down. When he opens the second valve, the water goes down at a steeper rate, and then when he closes the one valve, it ends up being flat again until the tank is empty. Notice this would be continuous because at any given moment, different amounts of drops of water could be let out of the tank. There is no time in which there is not water coming out of the tank. You guys, figure this one out. Morgan is buying ice cream for her friends. Each ice cream costs $3. Morgan is with 3 of her friends. All right, so what would be the discrete, or what would be the type of graph we would use here? It would be discrete because if she buys one ice cream, it's $3, 2 ice creams, it's $6. You don't get to walk up and say, I'll take 1.5 ice creams for $4.50. Just doesn't work that way. If we wanted to find out how much it was for her and 3 of her friends, she'd have to pay $12. Don't forget, she had to buy an ice cream for herself. Truck driver enters the street, accelerates, and then drives at a constant speed. Stops at a light and then continues. What would the graph look like? Notice we have time and speed. Why don't you see if you can draw what you think the graph looks like? Okay, I'm back. Accelerates, drives at a constant speed, stops at a light, accelerates again, drives at a constant speed, and continues on. Do you notice how there's a break right here? What do you think's happening? That's when he stopped at the stoplight for that amount of time. All right, you got an idea of how to be able to do this? If you got any questions, please feel free to let me know. Thanks.